is Gary Atanu with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. I am here with Kimberly Alexander. Basically, for over 10 years, a decade, her organization has been helping corporations and individuals stop reacting and grow big. I am here with Kimberly. Thanks so much for joining us. You've got quite a list here. We're talking about motivational speaker, business strategist, author, CEO. Thank you for joining us here today. Why don't we start off, first of all, over a decade you've been doing this professionally, but it was many, many years before that you had a career as a corporate executive. Share with us how you got involved on this journey.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me. I actually have been in the corporate world for about 25 years, and have led many different field teams, training teams, things like that. And what I found was that it's stressful being in the corporate world.
Sure.
I love it. I love the thrive and the drive and all those great things. However, finding balance in doing your job well and living a healthy life and finding that balance, it does exist, but it takes work. And so what I found is that I actually about 6 years ago wrote a program for myself in order to survive running through airports and really survive the number crunching, all those types of things. So I wrote a program for myself in order to find that balance, to be successful in every area of my life. And I started taking that out to my peers and my own teams. It turned into regional programs and national programs within several different corporations. And from there, I thought, I think I might leave the rat race and actually take this out on my own and really help as many people as I could. And so from that derived my book, The Results Map, and it's gone from there.
Wonderful. Quite honestly, you've been at it for some time in the corporate world, like you said, 25 years there. Why do you think today companies need your type of services possibly more than ever before?
Right. Well, it's a tough world nowadays. A lot of companies are downsizing, and with that happening, it doesn't mean that the work is downsizing. It's the affordability and the economy. And so a lot of executives are wearing multiple hats nowadays. Maybe 2 and 3 different roles are all consolidated into one. So more and more is being put on our plate. Plus, it's an instantaneous world. So, people want everything here and now. And even now, our children are living in an instantaneous world, and everything is so fast-paced. And so what we're finding is that executives nowadays are just having a hard time keeping up. So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of breakdowns. There's a lot of a stress out there that really isn't necessary. And so what I'm finding is I help teach executives how to really clear out what is negotiable and what isn't, and how to really kind of do less and gain more around the program I've developed.
Wonderful. A lot of stress out there, like you said. I imagine organizations, they attempt to probably motivate from within. How is it beneficial for them to look at an outside person like yourself, like the poster says in your office, perspective? Are you able to gain a different perspective that they didn't have before?
Absolutely. Well, oftentimes, and I even have it myself, I have my own outside business coach and my own mentorship that I bring in, because oftentimes when we're so immersed in our own business, we can't see our own business around us. And so really bringing in that outside perspective can be incredibly valuable, maybe even at the very top, CEOs, VPs, sales directors, whatever that looks like. They sometimes can't see what's in front of them and opportunities that lie ahead. So what I do is I can come in and actually help give them perspective on sometimes the smallest of tweaks can make the biggest of difference.
Wonderful. Hot off the press right now for 2014, the Results Map book. What are folks going to find there, and why did you feel it was important to put pen to paper?
Well, I have to say it's one of my proudest accomplishments. It's been just such a whirlwind. I actually wrote the book in 3 months, and so it's been a roller coaster ride that's just been great. Really, the results map is really what I lived. So back 6 years ago, when I wrote this program, I actually personally mentored over 200 executives to it within the corporate world, and what I found was efficiency, stress, progress, but also bottom line measurable results within their own business grew anywhere from 60 to 200% by utilizing this program. So what it is, it's really gaining that perspective of what do you truly want to achieve in your business and in your life, and then putting very strategic actions around it. And it's my exercises, my fundamentals are incredibly simple, but simple works. And so what I have found is people were able to adopt it and actually sustain the program. So it's true behavioral changes for the better.
So we're talking about tactics that you've developed through the years along with other people, and basically these are tools that people are able to adopt in their life from here on out.
Yes, in fact, I've had some people use it for business, and I've had a lot of people use it for just life, even just getting through life. And one thing that I teach is that we think we have our business life, we think we have our personal life, but really we have one life, and that's one thing that I coach and guide to is that if you're an executive, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, you've got one life to live. So it's all on one calendar. We put our lives in buckets of personal and professional. It's one life. And so when I find that people are really kind of managing and in control of every area of their life, they exceed and excel in every area of their life, and really enjoy what they're doing. I've had some people that come in they want some time management skills, or they want to figure out what they really want to do, and they get so much more from it. So.
Wow, wonderful. Obviously, for companies out there, getting results is serious business. But you yourself, like you say, you have your own family, so you're able to really incorporate humor, a lot of basically one-on-one connection in your talks, and ultimately there has to be a gain of trust that goes on. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Trust is everything. And, what's really important is I am completely transparent in where I've come and where I'm headed. When I had written this program, I was in a great career, had in a great role, but really the story I tell at the very beginning of the book, and actually if I'm doing any kind of a training, any kind of a workshop, I tell my story that my life was crumbling quickly. Very quickly. I was losing relationships. I was, really struggling within my own family dynamic. And then what happened was it turned over to the professional side too, in that I was so miserable with my own personal life that it translated over to the professional. And I was crying on the way to the airport, and I was crying on the way home, and my life was really just in such disarray. And I think we have more people living like that than we realize. And so I think once people realize that they have choices, they can make changes, and they can put themselves in the driver's seat of their life, they just don't have those simplistic tools on how to do it. Easier said than done. So what this program does is it helps guide you on this journey, really through this map on how to first really understand where you want to head, and I can help guide you on how to get there.
Interesting. It's amazing. I think you're correct. A lot of people are struggling out there, like you say, trying to keep up with the different facets of their life, but it's one life, and it's got to mesh and come together and harmonize. Let me ask you, you're obviously very comfortable in a workshop environment, be it from 20 to 2,000 people. What about individually? Are you able to help folks one-on-one or even smaller groups?
I love it all. I have actually personally mentored over 200 people specifically to this program. I coach with a lot of different other reasons as well in regards to building businesses, building teams, things like that. But yes, I do workshops, I do retreats and summits, one-on-one mentoring, keynote speaking. I actually am working with some companies now that I'm doing maybe some ongoing projects for them in a more consulting manner. So what I can do is I can work with companies, really talk about what's working for them, what their challenges are. And a lot of times I can pretty much assess really quickly what can really help them in moving not only their business forward, but even elevating their team to a different level.
Wonderful. What do you mean when you say mirror your business to time? What does that mean?
Oh, I'm so glad you caught that. It's one of my favorite quotes, and what that is marrying your time to your planned accomplishments. Is what happens is we think that we can accomplish more than we think we can. To give you an example, when I get more toward the strategy part of the results map, I talk about weeks of time, and there's 168 hours in a week, and normally the average person I've worked with one-on-one has about 300 hours worth of time on their calendar that they think they're accomplishing stuff in 168, and it's physically impossible. So what happens is people are touching a lot of different little things, but they're really not getting anything done. I use the example of taking a deck of cards and just kind of moving it around on the table versus actually shuffling them. So that's what happens is people are doing a lot of things. They're exhausted at the end of the week, but they're not really accomplishing anything. So if you want to accomplish something specific in your business or in your life, what I do is I actually help you put real time to that to see, are your goals really doable with the amount of time that you can put toward them.
So once again, not just choices, but clear choices.
Yes.
And not only that, but in our society, we're distracted every day with everything coming at us. So I imagine it's very important for us to guard our time and really set up some of these boundaries, right?
Absolutely. Protected time is critical. So that's what happens is, with everything that we have around us, email and Facebook and texting and phone calls, we can look up and 3 hours have gone by and you're thinking, what have I even done with my morning? I know that happens to all of us, even me sometimes. And so really it's identifying what you want to accomplish and putting protected time around that in order to ensure that you give it the time to get it done. So when the phone rings, you don't have to answer it. You can let it go to voicemail so you can get those planned accomplishments done.
Like you said at the beginning, basically a strategy where you know what has to be done. It's not negotiable.
Exactly. Non-negotiables are a real hot spot with me. And that is really looking at activities that, if not done, would hinder your business or your life. And so what happens is usually it's the non-negotiables that take the most time. So in the infamous to-do list, you've got your Sharpie, you're crossing things off. Well, most people get the negotiables done, the above and beyond, the quick fixes, things that don't necessarily need to be done, but you can get them done in 2 minutes. Well, what happens is you look up at the end of the day, you've done a lot of things, but nothing to move that business forward. So that is what I help do, is I take those 300 hours that you have on your week, get rid of those negotiables, and really focusing on non-negotiable activities that will move your business and your life forward. Most people think that everything's non-negotiable, and there's a lot of negotiable things out there.
Wonderful. And obviously to know what the difference is all the difference.
Yes.
Wonderful. Folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. On the website, first of all, you're going to learn a little bit more about herself. Check out some of the services she's able to provide. Basically bringing a lot to the table with many, many years of experience in the corporate world. She knows what it feels like to be frustrated. She understands what it feels like to try to balance that life of yours. And also she understands what succeeding is, and she enjoys succeeding a lot more, I would have to say. Let me ask you, obviously the book is on tour, you are on tour. What are some of the cities you're going to be out and about in?
Well, I've got 3 cities left, so I'll be visiting my hometown, Denver, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Scott, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Wonderful. Some of the places that you've already passed, possibly you're going to be coming to in the next few years, are folks able to basically go on the website and see where those are at? And maybe you might be hitting those again.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I will go see any company. I will go to any community where there is a need and where people want to come learn. So if anyone is interested, they can reach out on my website and we can have a conversation on what would work best for them.
Wonderful. Stop reacting and grow big. This is Gary Atanu with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know.